I've got a sharp pain right here. A little bit of shortness of breath. I had maybe a small cough and I was like, but what is this pain, this sharp pain? So then all of a sudden, I get up in the morning and it just rocks me again right here. Just, I'm like, it takes my breath away. And the doctor comes back and he says, you've got COVID, you've got a touch of pneumonia, and you've got lung cancer. I'm like, what? I was floored. How could that be? There's no way that that can be the case. As soon as he said that it was in the bone, that was just devastating. It was just, as soon as you say bone, it's like, okay, I'm done. I'm toast. We were supposed to leave for the trip that I had planned, the only trip I've ever planned for our whole family. We're going to Sicily because I just gained dual citizenship for myself and my son and my daughter. I'm feeling great, except I feel like I have a cold. And then I just start to decline. And slowly, like I start to have like jaw pain, and then I start to have back pain. My sacrum is just like on fire. I've got a sharp pain right here. And I got it at night, and I started looking it up, and it felt more almost muscular, but it was really sharp. And I'm like, okay, just breathe and relax, because I'm thinking I have a whole family, both sides, heart history, bad. And I'm like, if this is a heart attack and I don't know it, oh my God. So I go to bed and I'm like, fine. I'm like, okay, well, that's great. So then all of a sudden, I get up in the morning. It takes my breath away. And Andy's like, what? I'm like, nothing. I'm like, just give me a second. He's like, give you a second for what? I'm like, I just have a, I'm like, I just have a sharp pain. He's like, I'm like, I had it last night. And he goes, we're going to the ER. I'm like, Andy, no, it's like 6:54. I'm like, the doctor will be open in an hour. It's just, he's like, we are going to the ER now. And I'm like, oh, fine, whatever. So I begrudgingly go to the ER. We go to the ER and I'm laying there and I just feel like crap. They take my temperature and the girl's like, yeah, you've got a fever. I'm like, oh, no wonder I feel like crap. Like, when you have a fever, like you're like, oh, okay, that's it. That's the reason something's wrong with me. I've got a fever and some sort of an infection, right? And so then they come back and they're like, yeah, you've got COVID. We're going to take a chest x-ray just to make sure everything's fine. So they take a chest x-ray and then they're like, yeah, and some blood work. So they're like, yeah, we see something on the x-ray, and your D-dimer numbers or whatever are really high. We're going to do a CT scan too, but it's no big deal. It's just right over here. I'm like, okay, fine. I just go get a CT scan and I'm waiting. And the doctor comes back and he says, you've got COVID, you've got a touch of pneumonia, and you've got lung cancer. Andy's right next to me. And we're like, what do you mean I have lung cancer? Well, and he brings out his phone and he goes and he puts it in my face and he says, see here, look, there's a big, this big white thing that's like a golf ball sized tumor and it's in your lung. How could that be? That there's no way that that can be the case. And we just sat there and then he left. And then we're looking at each other and one of the girls came in and she was just checking on me and stuff. And Andy's like, does he have the right chart? Are you sure? Like this can't be, like, I don't understand. Basically he says, well, you'll need to see a thoracic surgeon. And so we leave with a handout that says, you've got lung cancer. I cursed the doctor up and down because I thought, there's no way you can tell me this. And like, how can you say this? And I was so angry at this gentleman. And then Andy kept saying, but Kath, he found it. He just did the best job of his life. He found this cancer and he said, look, here it is. So it's like, all of my anger, all of a sudden, I was like, okay, yes, I know, but still, like, that's not right. You can't do that. And, and but, but in the end, he actually did a great job. Like, I admit it now. I'm in great health, took no medication. I'm physically active for the past 6 years. I have bad heart health and dementias runs in my family. And so I literally have been doing everything I can to stay healthy. And there's a big golf ball size tumor. I knew nothing about lung cancer. Thank goodness we've got good friends in kind of the medical community. So Andy's great friend had was a radiologist, and so he had him take a look at that, take a look at the picture of the picture that I took. I took a picture of the doctor's phone because that's all I had. He sent that to him, and he suggested a couple of people, and that you should try to get with a nurse navigator, so that a nurse navigator can kind of help you do all of these things. Well, we're living in New Hampshire, and so we thought we had options for Boston and maybe Dartmouth. We weren't sure, so we had referrals put into Boston until we found out that our insurance wouldn't go to Boston. That was out of network. So then it was, okay, hurry up and try, like, let's do Dartmouth. And so Dartmouth accepted us, and I can't tell you the call to that first pulmonologist, that secretary, Jess, in Dr. Backer's office was amazing. Like, she made me feel like, you're somebody, and we are here, and now we've got you. Somebody ordered that we needed to get a PET scan. So it was like, okay, get a PET scan. We visit with the doctor on the 18th to read the PET scan and to the CT scan so that he can see the whole picture. Well, they don't get, of course, it takes a few days to get that read. So all I know is that we're scheduled to get a bronchoscopy so they can get a piece of my lung tumor, which is right here, basically, wrapped around my pulmonary artery. Schedule that, and then we go home, and we're just exhausted because we live 2 hours away from Dartmouth, taking a nap and just resting. And then I get the call from Dr. Backer, and he says, well, it's in the lung and it's in the lymph node, and then it got to 6 spots on my spine. So there's a spot basically on C2, which is on my neck, and on L4, which is in the middle of my back. My sacrum is lit up, is all lit up. And then he said, how's your right shoulder feeling? I'm like, fine. He's like, okay, all right, yeah, no, and the right scapular. And so turns out that like, I kind of lit up like a Christmas tree, and the biggest kind of glaring spot was like a big spot on the right scapular. So that was basically why I was just feeling some intense pain, and the pain would just kind of radiate and come all the way down. As soon as he said that it was in the bone, like, it was just devastating. It was just, as soon as you say bone, it's like, okay, I'm done. Like, I'm toast. That's like, maybe if it was just here, that would be okay. I didn't even know. I saw it around the pulmonary artery, and I'm like, there's no way you can cut it out. There's no way, like, you can't cut that part of your lung out. So it's like, I think both of us, as soon as he said bone, right then and there, like, I thought I was going to die. The way that my body was feeling, and the way it was degrading day by day, from a healthy body to day by day, like, I could just feel feel it going, and I'm like, and this isn't good, because if my bones, where he was talking about, if those break down and are unstable, then I can't walk, I can't move. It looked a lot more devastating than good. So, and then the oncologist, Dr. Ivy Riano, who's an amazing, she specializes in women and lung cancer, and I was so happy to just have her in my camp. And she sat me down and she said, Kathy, you have a bad cancer. We have options though. And I said, okay. I said, what if we did nothing? And she said, if we did nothing, then I said, how long would I have if we did nothing? And she said, 3 to 6 months. She's like, there are 2 potential options. She's like, there are immunotherapies and there are targeted therapies. And that is if you have a mutation. So if you're lucky to have a mutation and you can get a drug just for your mutation, that's like the best. But she's like, we've got this trial. She then was smart enough and great enough that the Dartmouth system decided to not only get the biopsy and sent that for obviously genetic testing, but they also did a blood test. And the blood test is so amazing, the fact that we ordered that blood test. But if you have a mutation and you get one of those targeted therapies, they could be years. She's like, we don't know. So we're just going to hope for the best and just hope that, we'll tell you in a couple of weeks. And I'm like, a couple of weeks? So I'm degrading day by day. A couple of weeks are going by, and I'm every morning we would have a coffee and cry. So we spent our time each morning having coffee and just listening to music that filled us or spoke to us. And so then we were sitting down on our beach, and on April 11th, I think. And we got a phone call from the doctor. And so she said, I have some news for you. She's like, is Andy there too? And I'm like, yes, he's right here. And she said, you have a mutation. And we're like, okay. And she's like, our whole office was jumping up and down for you, Kathy. I'm like, okay. And she's like, you have a mutation. So I am lucky. I won the cancer lottery, and my mutation is called ALK-positive. And so ALK-positive is, I get 1 pill a day. 1 pill a day. Yeah, lorlatinib. Take the recommended dose at this point, and I take it once a day. And yes, I have some side effects, but I am alive and I'm living and kicking and screaming and crying and laughing, and it is a good day. So my husband says it's like we walked away from a plane crash. I mean, literally, like, the wreckage is behind you and you're like, okay, like let's walk towards the city, and like, let's start to live now. So I'm, pretty excited at this time. When we first got this diagnosis, I don't want to say stoic, but it was just like, because I felt like I was going to die, I felt like I had to be strong for everybody around me, because it's hard to tell other people that you love that this is what you have, because you just say stage 4 of anything and people just have already put you in the ground. And so with Andy being an author, and he's always been the one to get everybody involved in everything. So he has a newsletter. And so he thought that this newsletter was going to be, to to grow his, support of, readership or whatever. So he's grown this thing to like 30,000 people. And so he sends it out once a week. And, this is about, writing and, characters and all sorts of publishing, everything. And so then he wrote something about me. And the first one was about, it was written and it came out, I just looked, it came out on Friday the 13th, March. And the headline was called Sucker Punched. And he started telling my story. And he just said that, this is what happened. Kath had a cold. We didn't think anything of it. Took her to the ER. And we were sucker punched with this life-changing event. And I hope you'll say a prayer, lift her up, give good vibes. And the response to that was overwhelming. And like 1,000 or more people texted back and started a love letter and love to our family. And so I cannot thank enough to the people who prayed and gave good vibes and just thought good things and did beautiful works all in my name. And that got spread to people upon people. And then you've got my mom. My mom, she told me just the other day, she said, you know what, Kath, I have not cried for you. I have not cried for you at all. She goes, because I know you're going to do well with this. Because that woman, Mimi, Marion, has been a rock for me because she was diagnosed with MS when she was 30 years old. And so I come from a woman of great faith and great love. So, and you know what? So I've seen this show before, and I will also persevere just like she did. We just got back from the ALK-positive summit. And so here's I went to the summit, and it's my first year. So I got a first year pin, and there were pins over for people who were over 10 years living with this disease, with stage 4 lung cancer. And here's my little paddle that they make. And now I'm not a huge, I didn't think I would be jumping into the cancer community, but you know what? I did. Because you know what? It's pretty cool to have your stuff signed by somebody who's over 13 years. And it's like, I see you, I raise you, I want to be you. I just want to hug these people because they are people who they are raising funds. They are doing the research themselves. People in this ALK positive community. So ALKpositive.org, amazing people running this. And I am so glad to be a part of this community. So when I was diagnosed, Andy found out that I was ALK positive, and he said, Kath, there's this summit and we're going. And I'm like, what do you mean we're going? He's like, well, I just bought plane tickets. He's like, I want you to meet your people. Because he's a writer, and we go to writer conferences and we meet his people. So he's like, we have to meet your people. So I met my people, and there's a huge community, not only online there, and there's great support there, but there's also a Facebook group. If I don't go forward, I have to go forward. I just have to go forward. And so you can't go forward with that baggage. It's not, it doesn't belong. It creeps up though. And I'm in a lot, I can't believe kind of how in a good place that I am. It's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything. You did nothing wrong. It's not your fault. You'll be okay.